is affected affected by corona, I think, and others are fine. Some of the patient has already gone, already maybe they are fine, but they haven't find any virus on them. Only one infected person is here.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
is but that's but I think they are not detecting that if they have the coronavirus or anything. Yeah, I think the same goes to also to Bangladesh. Some it could be like that.
Yeah, yeah, no. But I hope it will stop, maybe in
Mm.
1 month. I hope. Yeah, we still hope because
Yeah.
because the situation in China is getting better, in South Korea as well, in Japan as well. So actually, we are waiting for better times in April.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Mm.
But I think yes, I think that countries they should close their borders just in purpose of safety. So in purpose of stop spreading this virus. So just let's focus on our job anyway. Yeah, let's focus on our training. So it's a really good time for focusing on new knowledge as well. So we actually CG and on campus we're still positive. So and talking about our students, yes, talking about Amsterdam, all Holland universities, they unfortunately were closed at this moment till the end of March, and probably they will postpone all classes till the middle of April. But we will study. We will have online classes, so that's why the study process won't stop. So that's why it's really good news for them. But all students they should stay in their residences as well, in their rooms. And if the student, for example, some students they went for holiday in their home country, so we advise them to stay at home. So for actually in purpose of safety as well. Talking about all the UK centers. At this moment, actually, they have holidays as well, and we extend these holidays until the 13th of March. And yes, we will have on classes as well. So actually, but UK government they advise students to return to the UK in terms of immigration rules. So that's why, for example, some Russian students will have to come back to the UK on this Sunday, maybe next Sunday. But all classes will continue online until the 20th of April. And we hope that from the middle of April, all the students they can actually join offline classes and they can come to centers.
Okay.
Talking about US, yes, unfortunately, our Boston and IIT center has been closed for 7 weeks from the beginning of March. So the middle of April will show us, yes, if we can still uh, give them provide some, off classes. But at this moment, we have online classes as well. So in terms of study process, nothing changed. And I think it's very positive. So students will still study the subjects, they're still doing their homework, they're still doing their projects. They unfortunately we just should to postpone the exams. But maybe it's a really good news for students because I don't know any students that actually I know no students who really like exams. So we
Yeah.
will do it maybe in May. So in
Mm.
terms of study process, nothing changes here, and we're very positive. We actually still hope that real situation will get better maybe in April or May. So we still have time for recruitment as well. So yes, I hope we can only hope here.
Yeah, we can only hope. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Um, but let's start to talk. Should
Yeah,
we go
but
through with the should we go through with the previous applicants, or we can do it later, that one?
yeah, we can do it later. I think now we should start with my presentation about yeah, Amsterdam University Applied Science, about University of Amsterdam as well, and I think we will tell about Sweden. Just
Yeah,
some. So I
that's
will
right.
share my screen. Just a moment. Just a moment. is it? Yes, this is my presentation. Just a moment. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to talk about Amsterdam University of Applied Science because most of your application is for this university. So actually, I would like maybe to mention more facts about this university and actually what you should focus on here. I just sent you an email with deadlines and with rules for tuition payments as well. It was about 20 minutes ago. I hope you will share it with your teams with this information. But yes, talking about Amsterdam University Applied Science, I think you know that that Netherlands will have two types of university. First type of university is research university, so it's like University of Amsterdam. It's more maybe prestigious university. It's more challenging university. It's mostly about research. It's mostly about science. It's mostly about some theoretical knowledge. But talking about other type of universities, applied science universities, I think it's more practical type of university because people and students actually will taught by some representatives of business areas, by teachers who actually have a really good practice in the background. And actually it's the difference is it's the type of how teachers teach, how teachers give the information to the students, and actually the difference in the duration of the study. And actually talking about applied science, I think it would be more interesting for students who would like to do really more practical study with internships and with more opportunities, to get into business. So actually one of our partners is the University of Amsterdam University of Applied Science. And actually we can offer international business degrees, and unfortunately we can offer here on the business programs, and we can't offer any engineering programs here. But it's actually talking about this university. It's quite popular among not European and international students, but among students from Holland as well. This university actually is based not far from the city center. It's a really good location because you can get to any, historical places, to any sightseeing attractives in the Amsterdam. And actually the area where university is based, actually it's a business area with a lot of manufacturers, with a lot of head office of many companies. So the students, they actually have really good access to the real business and they can see how it works. I think it's a really good opportunity and a good option for the students. This university has about 250 partner universities across 50 different countries. It means the students, they can take one semester or they study not only in Holland. Actually, they can go to any studies and they can get some kind of exchange experience. For example, they can take one semester in Spain, one semester in the US, one semester in the UK, maybe in China, maybe in Singapore. So it depends what the student is looking for and what kind of program he's looking for. Because yes, the whole name of their degree is international business, but the students, they can choose a track. They can study marketing, they can choose, for example, entrepreneurship, they can choose, for example, some other kind of business related programs. So it depends on what area he would like to focus on. So that's why I think it's a really good opportunity for students to get an experience, to study in other countries, maybe to learn another language, because I don't know if you actually already look through the study program, but you can see that the students, they can choose different languages. Yes, they study in English, but they can choose Mandarin, they can choose maybe Spanish, they can choose any other languages. So actually, for example, if we're talking about students from Nepal, from Bangladesh, from India, so actually they will have not only two languages, their own language and English language, but they can study other languages as well. And a good thing for this university that all programs include internships. So actually, all programs will include some kind of work experience one semester as well. And I think it's really good thing for the student because after graduation, they already would have some kind of work experience, and probably it could be the future job, because some people, some companies, they actually will look, they could look at the students, how he work here, how he do his duties, how actually he looks like, and actually they can offer them a job offer. So actually it's a really good university for the student who really focus on practical skills, who focus on who actually looking for opportunity to stay in Netherlands. Because yes, talking about University of Amsterdam, it's a really high-ranked university, but it's I think the times has changed at this moment, because some companies were looking for a good professional people who can really work, but not to do a lot of research some kind. So talking about people who would like to stay and to find a job, just maybe in 1, 2, 3 weeks, I think University of Applied Science would be a really good choice for them, and I think it would be much easier to find a job. And talking about Netherlands, it's really good opportunity for the student, because they can actually apply for orientation year. It's a post-study post-study time for them. They actually can apply for this orientation year, and they can stay in the country for 1 year, and they can just just trying to find a job. They don't need to find it just in 1 to 3 days. Actually, they can do it during all year. And once they get a job, actually they can apply for for work visa. So, but a good thing that the student, they can use this year, orientation year, not only after the graduation. Actually, they can use it, after 3 years of the finishing the study. For example, student finished the study, the bachelor degree, and they decided to do a master degree in another country, for example, in the UK, maybe in the US. But one day, maybe they realized that they would like to have a work experience in Netherlands, and actually they can return. They just need to return, in the limit of 3 years. So it's a really good opportunities for the student too. As I said, talking about programs, what we can provide to the students, we can provide progression to international business, but the students, they can choose a track, within this course. Actually, we can choose marketing, we can choose maybe some accountants, we can choose some other tracks. So it depends. It's about 6 tracks there. So it depends on what students would like to study. Usually, bachelor degree, talking about University of Applied Science, the duration of bachelor degree is 4 years. So talking about our foundation programs, duration will be 1 year of foundation program with on campus and 4 years at University of Applied Science. But if the students, they have really good grades, and they actually academic results is really good, and the academic results is more than 85%, they actually can apply for fast track program. So this fast track program, the duration of this fast track program would be 3 years. So actually the program might be shorter. It depends on academic results of the students. It depends on the exams, it depends on the attendance, it depends on how they're active on the class. classes, so actually they can apply for much shorter program. I think it's a really good thing for them, and it's a really good motivation as well. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Regarding the fast track, you say the students need to have the good academic background, 80%.
85% background, not of the high school diploma. They just need to finish our foundation course, and
Yeah.
they actually academic results must be more than 85%.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Then they can complete it by 3 years or maybe less than.
Yes, yes, yes.
Right.
Yeah, in this case, they can progress to fast track program. So, and we will spend only 3 years on this study. So,
Okay.
talking about the full program, 4 years, actually, we can see on my slide that so it's like some kind of draft of the program. So, you can see that on the second year they can study second language. As I said, mostly students they can choose between Japanese, Mandarin, and Spanish languages, but actually they can choose any other languages what we would like. And talking about the third year, you can see global exchange. So the students they can stay in Netherlands, or they can choose one semester in other country in the university partner of University of Applied Science. So it depends, for example, on the tracks, because sometimes, for example, if for example, we have some students who would like to do their own business in Netherlands, so that's why for them there is no need to go to any countries, because they would like to focus on the business in Netherlands and how, for example, farms works there. So that's why they can choose some kind of not global exchange, but exchange here in Netherlands as well. Talking about the fourth year, you can see internship at company abroad, but it's not only company abroad. In most cases, students they can choose some companies in Netherlands, and in most cases, students can choose their own company, not own company. So actually, we are looking for some options, but university they can offer them some options that can provide it by partners of the university. But for example, if the student have some, if the student would like to work in Booking.com or L'Oreal or in other banks, and they apply for internship in these companies and they approve the student, actually they can go there. It's not necessary to choose only option that provided by the university. So that's why I think it's a really good thing for the students. So they have some kind of freedom here. Talking about fast track, you see that the final year is very busy for the student, because they can choose a global exchange, or they can choose some major subjects. They can stay in Holland, and they just can choose some subjects they would like to focus on. And the final year includes internships. So the final year will be more practical for the students, to be honest. Yes, and the first 2 years they would be very intensive for the student as well. So as I said, it's a really good work opportunities in Holland, because a lot of companies have their head offices in Amsterdam and some other cities in Holland as well. And you can see on the slide the key partners of the university. It is such companies like Dell, Microsoft, Google, Deutsche Bank, I think Walt Disney Company. So I think it's really good companies, and I think with a lot of students we would like to work for these companies. So talking about our foundation program, as I said before, the student they will start with us 1 year. After that, they can progress to full track for a full program. The duration of this program will be 4 years, or if their academic results are very good, actually they can progress to international business fast track. So the duration of the study will depend on the academic results, 5 years or 4 years. yes, talking about our foundation program. To apply to our foundation program, the student needs to have IELTS 5.0. And it's better to have a really good, not really good, but good grades, because we would like to see students who actually are able to progress to bachelor degree. And sometimes we should just to send these documents and your application to our head center, because we need to talk to the university, and university sometimes advise if we can accept a student or not. So that's why don't be surprised when they send you in email that the documents should refer to the head center and university for review, because we just need to understand if the students are eligible for this program, because we just need to understand if a student will be able to progress to bachelor degree, because our aim is to that your students, they can progress, because if your students progress to our to bachelor degrees, actually you will continue to work with us. If not, sorry, you will say sorry, actually we can't do a really good progression. So that's why don't be surprised when they send you an email that unfortunately we can't accept the students, or we need to refer the student to the center head or university. And please always check the academic and high school diplomas, because we just need to understand that we have really good students who actually are able to study there. Talking about the program, so the student, we will study 4 modules, including English, including economic and finance, business behaviors, and skills for business. So this is the program. So talking about English, the hours for English depends on the English level of the student. If students have really good English, he will have less English lessons, and he can focus mostly on their own projects, or maybe some business behaviors models or economics or finance models. So, for example, if the English level of a student is really good, he will have less English lessons. If the English level is not good, he will have a lot of English lessons. So it depends on the level of a student. So talking about progression, yes. So to progress to a bachelor degree at this university, the students, they have to pass 50% of all the modules. The attendance must be more than 85%. So please always tell your students that they should attend all lessons, because it actually it's not because of the marks and grades and the final results. It's because of the immigration rules as well. If the attendance will fall down actually, and it will be less than 85%, actually we should report about the student immigration authorities, and actually we will send them some notice to the students, and we will talk to the student. But please always tell the students that we should attend all lessons. Of course, if they have some problems with the health, or we need to stay at home because of they feel not good, so we just need to call my colleagues in Amsterdam, because students have all contacts of our Amsterdam office. But it must be officially, they just need to register it's officially, just because we know that everything is okay with the student, and it's not because he just doesn't want to go to the lesson. It's just because of the serious issues with his health, or maybe some other problems. Sorry?
Sorry.
Could you please repeat, because I think you asked me a question or not?
It's all right.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so to progress to bachelor degree, the IELTS must be 6.0. So you see that when they apply to foundation program, IELTS must be 5.0. So during this year, during foundation year, they should improve the English level up to 6.0. And talking about, as I said, fast track option, the marks must be above 85%. But IELTS could be the same. So talking about price and dates and price, yeah. So the student we will start the study from the 21st of September and we finish on the 6th of June. The annual price is, you can see on the slide, it's 13,245. And we have a second intake in January, and the price is the same. Talking about your students from India, from Bangladesh, from Nepal, unfortunately they can't pay termly. They should pay just before they start the study and before they apply for visa, and they should actually send all money to the university. But it's actually immigration rules. It's not ours. So that's why they just need to pay their full fee before they apply for visa. Talking about Amsterdam, I think it's a really good location with a lot of restaurants. Unfortunately, at this moment, all these restaurants are closed, but we hope it is September. It will be, yeah.
If we could go back to Amsterdam, that the fee structure.
Okay.
The fee, yeah. If we let's say that they have to pay 13,000 euro, 245 euro, 13,000 and 245 euro for the 1 year, basically, for the whole study program. But when they will apply, for instance, as I know, for Nepalese student doesn't need to send 10,000 euro, 10,800 euro for the living expenses to the immigration service, because this is their how to say, this is the rules. But for Bangladeshi student, definitely they have to send the tuition fees full of course to you, and then also the 10,800 euro to their bank in the immigration service. Have you talked to, have you clarified it? Because this is how we have sent the previous student, and this is how the immigration works. That's what is our experiences.
I talked to my colleagues from Amsterdam, and they didn't tell me about any exception for Nepal students. They just said to me that they should pay full tuition fees, and they don't need to pay for accommodation fees. We actually mentioned this question last time.
Yeah.
Because talking about accommodation fees, it's mostly they should book the accommodation with some private providers, so we don't need to pay any accommodation fees before they apply for visa or before they come to. But talking about talking about immigration rules, so we are talking about 10,000 or so for living expenses. I'm not sure about Nepal. I will check with Amsterdam team, because they didn't tell me anything exception for Nepal student in this case. They told me that all students, they should provide with 10,000 pounds on the bank accounts, or they should send it to university from Amsterdam University of Applied Science. Let me check. Let me double check about these exemptions. Because
the last intake we sent a student from Nepal, and they did not require any living expenses. Only the student from Bangladesh need the required living expenses. That's how we used to. But let me clear it.
Yeah, let me check. Maybe I will. Let me look through our students. Yes, let me check. I will send you an email, because I just need to understand if there are any exceptions for Nepal students. Because for example, last year all students from Nepal, from Bangladesh, from India, it was some kind of separate kind of students, and they have a different deadlines and different rules. But for example, from this year, all actually students from your areas, we actually have the same deadlines as MVV students. and probably some rules has changed for for living expenses as well. Let me check, because then I talked to my colleagues about Nepal students, Bangladesh students. They didn't tell me any exceptions. They just tell me
Yeah,
about
because it's very important. I think because
yeah
before we recruit any student, we have to say to the students, if we say now
yes yes
suddenly that okay, we have to send you 10,800 euro, and then what they will get suddenly the money, because it's very important. Or and
yes
the
I know
students we
absolutely.
already and the students we already send it to you, and we have told that you just only have to send the full tuition fees. That's what we know, especially for Nepal students. But of course, Bangladeshi students, we already said, okay, you have to pay the full tuition fees plus the living expenses you have to send.
Uh-huh.
Because we promise students already different things according to our previous intake. So if there is any
Uh-huh.
changes, you must always inform us before so that we can act according to that.
Uh-huh. I'm really sorry that I didn't double check it before, because actually, I didn't see any exception for Nepal students, but I double check. It's better always double check. Okay.
Yes, just because this is what we have done for the last intake.
Understand.
Yeah,
Okay.
please double check and let us know. It's very important matter for us.
Yes, yeah, I understand, because yeah, it's not cheap, for the student to pay all these tuition fees and living expenses fees at once. Yes, I understand you. Yes, I will send you information.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's continue. So that's all about Amsterdam University of Applied Science. And I would like to go to University of Amsterdam. University of Amsterdam. Yeah. So it's, as I said, it's another type of university. It's a research university. It's a high-ranked university. Talking about the rank of the university is a 64th place in the world. It's actually really good rank. And talking about this university, it's a really challenging university at the same time, because you will see our program. It's much it's more difficult because we have more models, and it's not easy to get to a foundation program, because we're looking for excellent students here, the students with really good grades and excellent grades as well. So talking about this university, as I said, it's a really good university with business programs. So if your students are looking for actuarial science degrees, business administration, economics, and econometrics, for example, I think it would be the best choice for them to where they can study and they can get this knowledge. Talking about other type of programs, actually we can provide here PPLE programs is a short name of the programs, and the full name is Politics, Psychology, Law, and Economics. It's a program for students who would like to work in some international organization, or would like to work in government, for example, or public service. So it's mostly about, a mixture of politics and international relation programs. Really good and challenging program for the students. The difference between applied science and research university, it's a duration, because the duration of bachelor degree is 3 years. If I'm talking about our foundation program, it will be 4 years, 1 year of foundation program, and then the student they can progress to bachelor degree. So, but all it will be all duration will be 4 years of the study. As I said, it's quite difficult. It's not quite difficult, to be honest, but it's not easy. It's not like easy just to send an application and your IELTS result, have diploma here. Here you just need to sit a math test, online math test. You have to be interviewed by center head if you would like to apply to PPLE program. Your actually high school diploma and your academic result must be really good. So the average GPA must be more than 80%, and the students they have to be good at math. So actually they have to have excellent grades in maths and physics sometimes, but mostly in maths. So that's why, as I said, it's a very challenging program, but still we have a lot of students here. I think it is the most popular center talking about on campus. Yes, because
You talk about the mathematics also for the business.
Also for business. For example, talking about math tests, we say we have to pass math tests. Talking about business administration, the pass mark must be 40%. Talking about other programs must be 60%. But anyway, they should study maths during the foundation year, and the math grades must be excellent.
Yeah. So let's say we have a student, he need to have the mathematics about 80% in
Yeah.
order to apply the
Yeah.
foundation program
Yes.
for business or PPE.
Yes, because talking about this program, talking about University of Amsterdam. Uh, Unfortunately, University of Amsterdam, in most cases they can't accept students directly. So actually, they refer students to our foundation program. But then the time of progression will come. The university actually they will look not on the result of foundation program. They will look at their high school diploma. So that's why it's quite important that students will have a really high school diploma, because it will be the most important document for the university. After that, they will look at foundation program. So the student, they should have really good grades. They should have good mathematics. They must have a really good high school diploma.
And
Then
when you take a mathematics test, basically how does it arrange the mathematics test?
So actually, we will send you a link, and it will be online test. You should actually to control your students. The best way if the student come to your office, for example, and you can see how they actually sit with how they write the test, because they don't. It's not allowed to use, for example, some help, some Google, some other devices here to write this test. The test actually is not so difficult. I will send you some samples of this test. You can send it to the students so they can prepare to the test. But actually, you just need to check that the students they sitting this test without any help. It's online.
You're talking about mathematics. Mathematics, is it like the pure mathematics or like the business mathematics?
It's pure mathematics. It's not business mathematics. It's mathematics. It's actually it's a standard school course.
Okay, great.
I will send you some samples, and you can actually look at this, test, and actually. Yeah, I can share with the students as well. So actually, we have time to prepare. So you can see on slide, you can see how the foundation programs look like. You can see that we will study 5 modules here, except English. The situation with English is the same as at previous university. If the students have really good English, they have less lessons. If the English is not so good, they have more lessons in English. But they should focus on mathematics here. They should focus on economic or maybe some international relations here. So this program, it's not a usual, it's not standard foundation program. It's some kind of, it's a type of university programs here. So that's why it's quite important for the university that the students they have really good high school diploma, and of course they should finish our program with good marks as well. So you can see that pass mark is 60% for business pathway. Business pathway includes business administration, economics and business economics, and econometrics and actuarial science. Talking about PPE, at this moment we call it social science pathway. So the student, they need to pass 70% of the subject, and the IELTS must be 7.0.
Here I can see that the IELTS level 6.5 and 7.0, while
this
they will
is for
pass. It will be it will be developed course of time when they will take the study at foundation program, is it, or how? How do
So
you determine their IELTS level become?
actually, you can see the entry requirements for our foundation programs for business is fine for 5.0 and for
Yeah.
probably 5.5. As I said, to be honest, the average student who apply to this program, they ask about 6.0, 6.5. It's the average students. If the student have 5.0, 5.5, as I said, they will have more English classes. So the
Oh.
English model will be more intensive as usual. If they have really good level of English, they will
But
have
my question
less.
is that at the end of the day, do they have to sit for an IELTS test again in order to, go for the international business program or the main study program at University of Amsterdam?
Actually, I don't understand your question.
No,
Could you
my
please?
question is that when a student start with IELTS 5.5, and then once they have completed their foundation program, their IELTS level is become progress to 6.5 minimum or maybe 7.0. I mean, how do you measure that? Do you take an English test again, IELTS test
Yes,
again?
yes, of course. They have midterms exam, and actually they should sit IELTS again in the end of the second term or beginning of the third term. So yes, they're always checking their results. After the first term they have a midterm exams. After the second term as well, we're checking the level of English, of math, because I always have some, some tests as well. And in the end of the second term, they should sit IELTS again. We will help them to register for IELTS in Amsterdam, but we should do it. Yeah.
All right.
So talking about prices, this program is the price of this program is a little bit higher than for University of Applied Science. You can see that the tuition fees is about 17,985 euros. Actually, sometimes we can provide some discounts. The discount is up to 2,000 euros per year. But it depends on the academic results of the student, depends on the mathematics test, it depends on the interviewer. But yes, students sometimes they can apply, so the price can be a little bit less than 70,000 euros. But talking about the bachelor degree fees, actually they should pay about 9,000 euros. So the first year will be more expensive than the second year. So you just need to tell the student, yes, we should pay now about 18,000 euro, but the next year will be, double cut. And we have two intakes as well from September, and there are other intakes from January. Here we have pre-master program as well. We call it master qualifying program. So the student, they can apply for business programs like econometrics, business administration, business and economics. So, but talking about our program, pre-master program here, to be honest, is a part of master degree. So the student, they should study for 2 years, 1 year with us and 1 year at university. Talking about this program, as you can see, the IELTS requirements is 6.0, and the students will have actually the bachelor degree must be related to business and economics, and if not, actually they need to pass GRE or GMAT. So if you have some potential student who would like to apply to pre-master foundation program, you just need to send me the documents, we send the bachelor degrees, and the university will say, and our center head will say, if they need to pass GRE or GMAT. So sometimes we can't say, at once that if they need any additional documents or any additional exams. So just send me the documents. And actually talking about master degree, a master program, it's, we should review all documents individually. I can't say, for example, yes, we can take the students all documents that you send me, I need to send the university and center heads, and after that I can say you if we can accept the students or not. Yeah. Yeah, the price is a little bit higher than for a foundation program, and the second year will be about 10,000 euro. Talking about Amsterdam University's, so not applied science, talking about University of Amsterdam, talking about immigration rules, it's the same as for applied science university, except Indian students, because they don't need to pay all full fees. They can provide the bank statement here. I think I'll already send you email about it, but I will send you it again when I will send you some information about Nepal student. Yeah. So it's for Indian student, it's a little bit easier to get here. So this all about Amsterdam program. So maybe you have some question here.
The amount of bank statement should be?
Yes, talking about personal statement, bank statement you mean, or personal statement? Bank statement.
Yes, bank statement.
Bank statement, as I said, for Indian students, if they apply for Amsterdam University of Amsterdam, they don't need to pay full fees. They actually can provide on the bank statement, but they actually have to show that they have money for full fees payment.
That is round about 18,000 euro.
Yes, yes. Plus living expenses.
Plus living expenses.
It's about 10,000.
10,000 euro.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But at least we don't need to pay full fees at once, you know, we just can show that we have this money. I think it's a real good, yeah. Okay, so let's start with Sweden. You know, to be honest, is one of my favorite centers talking about on-campus programs. I really love Sweden. Because it's not too far from other center, because our center is located in Lund. I think from Copenhagen it will take about 35 minutes by train, so it's a really good location. And talking about Sweden, it's a really good country for students who would like to study some business programs and for master degrees, to be honest. And it's a really good country for a student who would like to study maths, physics, and some engineering, because, you know, this country is very famous for some, you know, innovation like Spotify, Ericsson, IKEA, H&M, Skype. So all these companies will be established in Sweden. So talking about our center, as I said, we located in the south of Sweden and not far from Denmark. So it's not far from Malmö, just 15 minutes from Malmö to Lund. I think it's quite important for students to understand where we will study, because sometimes the student talking about Sweden, I think that we will study in Stockholm, but unfortunately it's 5 hours by train from Malmö to Stockholm. So that's why it's a south part of Sweden. Talking about Sweden, we should mention that it's a little bit, maybe we have some differences, yeah, in duration. But talking about bachelor degree, the duration will be 3 years, but talking about master degrees, talking about business degrees, it will be 1 year, and but talking about engineering programs, it will be 2 years of master degree. So if the student would like to apply for our pre-master foundation program, it will be 3 years of the study if we would like to progress to any engineering degrees. But if we would like to progress to business administration, it will be 2 years. Our pre-master foundation program plus 1 year of master program. Talking about PhD program, unfortunately we don't provide these programs, but I think I should mention this because, you know, the PhD programs, it's the same as work placement. So the student after master degree, they can apply for PhD, they can stay with university, and actually it will be the work placement, because university will pay a salary for the students. But it's not easy to get to PhD program, but for some students it's a really good opportunity to stay in the country, because talking about if the student would like to stay in Sweden and if he would like to have a residence permit after the university, they should work in the country for 4 years, and they don't need to change any company during these 4 years. They can actually change just one time during these 4 years. But if they apply for PhD, it will be the same as work for them, and they will have a salary. So, and actually
এই সঞ্জিত হ্যাং হয়ে গেল নাকি?
No, it is from how to say? It is from the Olga's place, not from our place. Dipendra, can you hear? Dipendra, can you hear us?
সঞ্জিত এদিকে এসো, শোনো, কলটা কে করেছিল? ওই এটা হলো ডেস্টিনেশন। আরেকটা কে কল দিয়েছিল? কল দিয়েছে নুর আলম। নুর আলমকে কল দিয়ে বলে দাও তোমাকে যেটা বললাম সেই জিনিসটা বলো। ওই যে এখানে